will the Giants have the kahunas to pick a quarterback? With the 6th overall selection in the draft, they have been meeting with and they have been scouting the incoming class. Now, some could say, well, they're doing it because they might have an opportunity to trade down, so you have to have your own opinion about the guys so you can properly value what that player is worth. It's not the 6th spot. It's the player that you know the person is coming up to get. But still, they're spending a lot of time that could otherwise be spent on other positions scouting these quarterbacks. Joe Schoen, GM of the Giants, said to Albert Breer of SI.com on this issue of the 6th overall pick, we don't want to be up here again. We don't want to be picking in the top 10. We have multiple needs. We're going into year 3. People assume we're going quarterback, but we have other needs. If the quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3, 4, then we're getting the second best position player, not quarterback at 6, which is okay too. The player will really help us. Look, I mean, this was sold as, oh, they're not going to pick a quarterback. I look at that and I say, well, hell yeah, they're going to pick a quarterback. They're concerned that the best quarterbacks are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And the fallback is, well, we'll get the second best position player, and we're okay with that too, which means they want one of the top 4 quarterbacks.
I don't look at it that way. I think they're trying to put, like, what do you want to say? What's the phrasing? Put the glue back in the bottle or whatever the hell I'm trying to come there.
Toothpaste back in the tube.
Exactly. One of those damn things. One of those sticky white substances that's got to go back in the tube. Okay, and that's what I feel like they're doing. Early on in the process, he came on our show on the Combine, right? And, he's always injured. We got to get another quarterback. Well, he's been injured 2 out of the last 3 years. They kind of put all these signals. Somebody told Rich Eisen they have buyer's remorse with Daniel Jones. They put all these signals. And then it's like they got back together after the Combine. They're like, wait, we have 700 other problems on our team other than the quarterback. Maybe we shouldn't just talk about that. Maybe he's not as bad as we think he is, and maybe the team is not that great. And I feel like ever since then they've, trying to get out of that conversation. I don't think drafting a quarterback is a Giants move. It's year 3. We're going to start Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, J.J. McCarthy, who's going to play quarterback? And let's just have a freaking disaster here for a team in year 3. And let's just have more distractions and media stuff and just nobody play football. And we'll just talk about quarterback. Like, I just don't see that being a Giants move. I don't, right? And that's where I think they came off that, or at least that realization at some point here in the process that they got to worry about other things.
There's 3 quick points I want to make.
Yeah.
First of all, maybe they are saying what they're saying now because they realized that their pursuit was too obvious and they were going to make it look like they tried and failed,
right,
which creates the same issues you're talking about.
Right.
If the Giants fans out there think these guys really wanted a quarterback and they just didn't get a quarterback, but they really wanted one, well, we're only going to count the days until Daniel Jones is gone. Secondly, I can't remember what the second point was, but I'll come back.
Well, hey, okay, go ahead.
Thirdly, this item I saw yesterday about the Drew Lock contract, and we went through weeks of contracts being worth up to this and up to that, and up to was the phrase other than all in of the offseason. Drew Lock signed a 1-year deal worth up to $8 million, but it was never couched that way. It was just called a 1-year, $5 million deal. Dan Dugan of The Athletic pointed out yesterday there's $3 million in incentives there, and they all flow from playing time. Why wasn't that out there when they signed him? And remember John Schneider talking about how Drew Lock chose to go to the Giants because he's going to compete with Daniel Jones. And they're like, oh, no, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. I just wonder, if when Lock was signed, somebody asked the agent to not shine a light on the incentive package because they're trying to find a sweet spot where they support Jones until they don't. But if everyone knows, and if that's a headline when Drew Lock signs that he's got $3 million tied to playing time, maybe that erodes, and maybe it also exposes that they are thinking about drafting a quarterback. If they're hedging with Lock and have that incentive package tied to playing time, they're thinking maybe this guy's going to play at some point this year. Maybe they are looking at a quarterback to take over for next year. Oh, and here's the third point. It's the save your ass and ensure future employment take. The idea that if we take a quarterback this year and we stick with Jones, it's more likely Shane and Brian Daboll will be there next year at a time when Bill Belichick is going to be hovering. I just wonder how much of that is affecting, because we've seen that before. If we draft the quarterback, we possibly give ourselves enough time for everyone to find out if the quarterback can play. So we have more than a year. We go from being on the hot seat to being safe by having a quarterback that we have in our back pocket that we took with the 6th overall pick, who'll make his debut next year.
They draft the quarterback at 6 and go.
Didn't save Dave Gettleman.
If they go, that's what I mean. If they draft a quarterback and go 6 and 11, their ass will be out of there. So I don't have to worry about it. The next guy will develop them. That's what's going to happen, right? That's where they got to be careful. Like, you're right. That's part of the game, certainly, and playing that and doing that. And guys have done that. But gosh, I don't think we're at that, right? And I think, like to your point, they're trying to find that fine line of we want to have somebody here that's a backup, but yet pushes Daniel Jones a little bit. And Drew Lock is that guy that's that fringe starter. He has starting caliber physical attributes that is definitely going to put pressure on Daniel Jones on a daily basis because he's going to make a few throws where the team's going to be like, whoa, look at that. So Daniel Jones is going to have to be on his game. And I think that's where that's at. Right? I get a sense, Mike, that they came out early talking about quarterbacks more because they were going, I hope somebody trades up to get a quarterback for us, and that's why they started down that road. And then they realized, oh, shit, quarterback's going to go off the board 1, 2, 3, and 4 maybe. That doesn't really make sense anymore, and now we got to change our conversation a little bit. I feel like that's what happened. I don't know that for sure. Either way, I think we both can agree that this is a big draft for the Giants here. This really is, and they got to, figure out how to fill a few holes with these young guys.
I still think that they're hopeful, quietly, discreetly, that one of the top 4 guys is there at 6. And it'll be interesting to see if one of them is, right? If it goes Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and then you've got Nix and Penix and who else am I missing?
J.J. McCarthy.
McCarthy.
Yeah.
And May.
Right.
We don't know what they think about May. I know what you think about May, but I keep seeing that other people like May. So I don't know what the hell to think about May.
It's going to go down. Yeah, don't worry. It's going to go down the wrong way. It is. I just get that sense. What do you mean? I just talk to people in football now too much because now so many of the important decision makers are up to speed with a lot of the players. And like Drake May's come up a number of times with me already, and people are like, I'm with you, Chris. I don't know what anybody is seeing. I don't really understand how anybody could look at that and go, that's the number 3 player in the draft, right? So I think as this goes on, he'll continue to fall down the conversation a little bit, and you're going to see Penix more in that spot with J.J. McCarthy as that 3 and 4 guy off the board.
Merrill Hodge, who was an analyst at ESPN for years, he had the comment recently that Drake May will get you fired, especially if you trade up to get him.
Yeah, he's scary. He's boom or bust. He really is. There's plays like we talk about where you go, wow, right? But then there's 5 plays after that where you go, whoa, like what that throw, that decision, why did you leave the pocket? And that's, again, why I used the phrase, the phrase project a little bit when we broke it down not too long ago.
The whole thing really is this elaborate, bizarre game of chess and poker, and what signals do you put
out?
Well,
the draft community can't get off of guys that they've already died on a hill. They're going to die on a hill with a guy for 8 years, right?
A lot of people in the media.
So they won't get off it,
not let
right?
go of Drake May.
Like
2
years ago, Spencer Rattler was going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. All these same people told me that. And then he couldn't even hold the starting job in Oklahoma to Caleb Williams. I mean, we can go down the list of who I was told was the guy, right, a year before, and then people won't get off it until it just becomes so obvious. And I feel like we got that a little bit going on with Drake May for sure.
It really is weird how, and it's human nature, just this basic resistance of admitting we were wrong. We're revisiting our narratives. We put a lot of time into that narrative, and I really don't want to go back and tear it down and come up with a new narrative to replace it. I don't want to start doubting my narratives. I want to have all my narratives, like hanging like suits on a what's that thing? Closet,
hanger
in the closet on the bar. What's the bar? Is there a special name for the bar? In
I
the
don't
closet?
know.
I don't know.
You
hang your suit on the
hanger
bar in the closet.
I guess
suits down around the corner for the suits. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.